The new stepbrother is always after my stuff. Jack, your room is huge. Without him even asking, my mom kicked me to the cramped storage room. I envy Jack for having a great girlfriend like Nancy. But then Nancy dumped me, claiming my stepbrother is her true love. Jack's so smart, unlike me who can't even finish a paper. The night before my thesis review, my advisor handed my thesis to him. I could do without family or a cheating girlfriend, but mess with my thesis and it's on. Hey Jack, I lent your thesis to Alex for his presentation next week. He hasn't even started his yet. Alex is my stepbrother, 3 years younger, a senior while I'm a third-year grad student. 2 years ago, my mom remarried his dad, and he moved in. He took over my mom, my room, and lured away my girlfriend. He just needs to act envious, and the others just hand things over to him on a silver platter. I could do without family or a cheating girlfriend, but now he's after my thesis too. Considering Lisa's still my advisor, I swallowed my anger. Professor, Alex is just an undergrad. He can't use my master's thesis for his bachelor's, right? Lisa shrugged it off. Why not? You're both in the same field, and Alex is capable. This just made me angrier. Alex can't write a simple undergrad paper, let alone publish in a journal. Lisa had insisted I involve him in experiments. Yet, while publishing, I had to add his name. Otherwise, with his half-baked skills, he might blow up the lab before writing a word. He'd mix up reagents or forget protocols, and even his experiment records were a mess. I'd scold him, and he'd act all pitiful. Jack, so sorry, it's my fault, don't be mad. The lab folks would then scold me, saying I should be more patient with him. Frustrated, I suggested, why don't I ask Lisa to move him to your team? That shut them up, tail between their legs. In the end, it was up to me to clean up his mess. Luckily, Alex wasn't consistent. He'd come around a few times and then lose interest, allowing me to make progress. Lisa, you gave him my thesis. What do I submit? How do I graduate? She laughed it off. Jack, you're so capable. The lab can't do without you. Stay for a few more years. The job market's tough. A couple more years won't hurt. A couple more years. She really sees me as expendable. I know Alex is set to continue grad school here with her as his advisor. Without the school's rules on extensions of a max of 2 years, she'd probably have me fund his whole degree. Jack, we'll talk when I'm back. I'm busy now, bye. Before I could object, Lisa had hung up. She was attending a 3-day academic conference, the first day being today. But today was also the last day to upload my thesis to the system. Waiting for her return would be too late. I kept calling her, but she just ignored the calls. After Monica's early retirement due to illness, I'd been reassigned to work under Lisa. For 2.5 years, I played along for a smooth graduation. But now, with Lisa set on delaying me, why should I continue to tolerate this? I learned from a lab mate Alex was around. I stormed over at once. As Alex opened his mouth, I slapped him. Can't write a paper? Then drop out. Don't just someone else's thesis. And how could you even understand my paper? Dare to steal it. Alex, teary-eyed, played innocent. What are you talking about, Jack? I don't get it. I sneered. Don't get it? But you sure act like you do. Collaborating with Lisa to steal my thesis and delay me. Aren't you just smooth? He feigned desperation. Jack, you're wrong. I didn't intend to take your paper. I didn't know it was yours. Not knowing isn't an excuse. Surely he knows he didn't write that thesis, right? I pressed on. How could you be this clueless? Do you even understand academic misconduct? Alex just stood there in tears, silent. Watching the commotion, lab mates stopped their work, curious about the drama. A naive first year spoke up. Even so, hitting someone is wrong. His older teammate quickly covered his mouth. Don't get involved. What if that loser is pushed into your team? Clearly, Alex was unpopular around here. Of course, I once got rid of Alex by assigning him elsewhere, only for him to be returned like a hot potato. With no one in the lab on his side, Alex dropped the facade and got cocky. Sure, I used your thesis, but Lisa handed it over voluntarily. Maybe stop being so hard to like. He wiped his tears, then smugly added, Oh, and by the way, your thesis did well. Turnitin showed just 8. 31% similarity, and AI detection was only 7. 49%. Thanks, Jack. His arrogance was infuriating. I'd slaved away over those nights reducing those rates. You better quit now. Ants can't shake a tree. Tossing his lab coat onto me, he continued. Make sure to repeat those experiments and send me all the data. Then, he grabbed his bag and headed out. Before leaving, he turned to the lab crowd. Remember, don't spread what happened. Lisa doesn't only delay Jack, you know. This is a blatant threat. The fellow disciples who were just watching the show turned serious. And the junior who stood up for me earlier looked like he swallowed a fly, his face turning a mix of blue and purple. After he left, a friendly fellow disciple came over to advise me. Jack, why don't you just hold on a little longer? The thesis has already been uploaded to the system. There's no turning back. Yeah, Jack, don't go head to head with him. Lisa will definitely take his side. We still have to work under Lisa, so let it go for now. Lisa carries the title of my advisor. If she wants to mess with me, I won't graduate. If I let this go, there will be a next time. I'm afraid I'll be ill from anger before I even graduate. So, I'm not holding back. Worst case, I'll drop out and apply again or just start working. It's better than getting blocked by Lisa and stressed by Alex. It's better than enduring double the mental and physical torment every day. I immediately went back to my off-campus rental and started organizing the evidence. This included all the materials related to the thesis I wrote, as well as the chat logs and timelines of Lisa's feedback on my drafts. I sent one report to the relevant department at the school. Another I posted online. After all, I can't guarantee the school will move against their professors for me, a broke student. But with everyone watching, I might get a bit of justice. After doing all this, I went to bed. When I opened my phone the next day, I got bombarded with calls and messages. From Alex and Lisa, my mom and his dad. There were also texts from Nancy. That's the ex-girlfriend who dumped me for Alex. I didn't bother replying, cleared all the notifications with one tap, and then checked the trending topics. Overnight, Alex and Lisa had gone viral. As I watched with amusement, there was a loud knock at the door. Jack, come out. I know you're in there. That familiar voice. It was my mom. She probably brought Alex to give me a piece of her mind. I stayed quiet, letting them rant outside. I only opened the door when other residents couldn't take it anymore and tagged me in our group chat. Jack, you've got some nerve. Taking forever to open the door. I casually glanced at my mom. What do you want? Her surprise at my cold attitude left her speechless. My stepfather stepped forward. Jack, we're here to resolve this misunderstanding between you and Alex. Yes, take down those posts, my mom ordered after my stepfather reminded her, pointing her finger at me, telling me to issue a statement saying it was all a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? I looked over at Alex standing behind them. His eyes were dark and intense, like a snake staring at me. It looked like he didn't sleep well last night. My mom downplayed it, it's just a paper. You're the big brother, just give it to Alex. And posting it online has made us a laughingstock. The things people are saying are awful. Strangely, my own mom now shields Alex, scolding me regardless of right or wrong. I remembered the day my stepfather brought Alex home. Jack, your room is so big, Alex said. And my mom immediately moved me into a cramped storage room. You're always in the lab and hardly home. The room is wasted on you. It's better for storing Alex's clothes. So in our 3-bedroom apartment, my dad and stepmother had one room, Alex had another, and Alex's clothes had the third. My mom saw this scene as a happy family moment and wanted me to thank them. Awful things they're saying? I don't think so. I shrugged indifferently. Tears welled up in Alex's eyes. Jack, you can hit me or scold me. Just please clear things up with everyone. Sometimes I wonder if Alex has split personalities. One second he's staring daggers at me, the next he's acting like a victim. Misunderstanding? Clear it up? Do I need to get you a dictionary to look up those words? Jack, I'm begging you, don't ruin my life. He was about to kneel when my dad grabbed him by the arm to stop him, which turned my dad's disappointment towards me. I can't believe you've become so cold-blooded, Jack. Is ruining Alex's life the only way you'll stop? I was speechless. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Blame shifting seems to run deep in this family. Spare me the flattery. Alex stole my thesis. He did this to himself. Having said that, I turned to shut the door, not wanting to argue more. But my mom pulled out a jade Buddha pendant, a keepsake from my dad. My dad passed away from a brain tumor when I was in high school. That pendant was passed down to him by my grandma. Dad promised to give it to me when I turned 18. Unfortunately, he passed before that day came. If you agree to say it was all a misunderstanding, I'll give you this, my mom said, dangling the pendant. The smiling jade Buddha reminded me of Dad's gentle smile on his deathbed. Our Jack must always be happy and joyful. Dad, I felt a lump in my throat, and my eyes suddenly welled up. Noticing my shift, Alex smirked. Delete the post, make a statement, and promise never to post anything else related. Then Auntie will give you the jade. He thinks he's got me cornered? Too bad. I'm not interested. That wasn't the only thing my dad left behind. And even if it were, so what? Dad wanted me to be happy. He'd absolutely stand by my actions. If he were alive, he would have stepped in for me. Seeing that I was really unmoved, my mom lost it, pointing and yelling at me. You ungrateful child, all for a little fame and profit. You don't even want your real dad's memento. She has no right to speak on my dad's behalf. I looked up with a forced smile. Since you're already calling me ungrateful, why don't I really show you what ungrateful looks like? With that, I gave my mom a solid slap. Her scream was deafening. While she clutched her nose in pain, I grabbed the jade Buddha. My mom and Alex were stunned by my sudden move and rushed to support my dad. I shook the jade Buddha in my hand. Look, I got Dad's keepsake. So no more ungrateful accusations. Okay? You unfilial son. My dad, bleeding from his nostrils, looked on the verge of passing out from anger. I closed the door with all the loot in hand, blocking out the insults and cries behind me. Then I called the apartment management to get them removed. After that, I found a box for the clean jade Buddha when my counselor called. He asked me to meet at the school in the afternoon to discuss something. On my way to the school meeting room, Nancy suddenly popped up and blocked my path. Jack, you're really persistent, huh? You'd stoop so low just to get with me. His words left me completely confused. I mean, Nancy and I had been done for over a year. As if I'd even want him? Only someone like Alex would fall for that. But he kept rambling on, you win. If you help clear Alex's name, I'll agree to be engaged to you. But you can't be jealous of Alex anymore. This relationship is forced by you, and Alex is the one I love. What was I thinking back then when I actually dated Nancy? It's a stain on my life. Honestly, I should thank Alex. If he hadn't said, I envy that Jack has such a great girlfriend like Nancy, Nancy wouldn't have realized Alex was her true love and left me. Otherwise, I'd still be tangled up with this narcissist. I looked around. There were people everywhere, not a great spot to cause a scene. So, I played it cool, why don't you come with me? Let's find a quiet place to chat. Alright? Nancy flicked her greasy hair thinking it was seductive. I knew you couldn't resist me. But remember, it's just an engagement. Whether it leads to marriage depends on how you behave. I was barely holding it together. I bit down my frustration and put on a fake smile. Got it, now follow me. I led her to a secluded corner. No people, no cameras. Stopping, I turned around, cracking my knuckles. Nancy seemed to sense danger. What are you planning to do? Of course, I'm gonna beat you up. For 2 years, I've put up with Lisa and stood by as Alex messed things up for me. I've been hitting the boxing gym every weekend to vent and keep my sanity. The past few days were particularly rough, and I hadn't had the chance to blow off steam. Nancy was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. She's getting a piece of it. And if she dares to disgust me again, I'll beat her up every chance I get. Nancy lay on the ground crying, her phone slipping from her pocket. The screen showed an ongoing call, 34 minutes in. And the call was with none other than my old buddy, Alex. I picked up the phone and said, Alex, don't rush. I'm on my way to see you. After a brief delay, I jogged to the meeting room. Of course, my dear stepbrother was waiting. So was Lisa, who claimed to be too busy with a 3-day academic conference to take my calls. Along with them was a school official. "You sit down first. The school understands your situation," the official said, handing me a cup of tea. "As a student of D University, I trust you want D University to thrive. Here's a win-win proposal for you to consider. The school will retract Alex's thesis from the system, giving it back to you. You can submit it during the second round of peer reviews. Additionally, we're offering you a spot in the direct PhD program." He paused briefly. "In return, we ask you to clarify that this was all a misunderstanding. Enhance the reputation of D University, clear Lisa's name, and erase Alex's wrongdoing. There's nothing in it for me to celebrate. That thesis is mine to begin with. I'm not thrilled about the PhD spot. With this kind of arrangement, it would be impossible to study here without enduring countless petty grievances. Also, when I got the offer for graduate school in my senior year, I had better offers from other places. I stayed because I wanted to study under Monica, who's since retired due to illness. After 2 years of Lisa's antics, I have zero affection left for D University. Sorry, I can't accept this offer," I stated firmly. "My demands are simple. I want Alex and Lisa to publicly apologize." The official looked troubled. This? Alex, who had been silent, suddenly stood up and bowed to me. "I'm willing to apologize publicly. This is all my fault. But please, Jack, spare Lisa. If he apologizes publicly, how can he gain the trust of future students?" Nice words. But tell me, how did you steal my thesis by yourself, fooling the advisor and uploading it into the system? Lisa calmly put down her tea and cleared her throat. "Aren't you two brothers? Just say he took the thesis at home while you were unaware, uploading it without my review." Convenient explanation. Even Alex looked wide-eyed at Lisa. I knew Alex wasn't one for self-sacrifice. His earlier words were just for show. But I didn't expect Lisa to throw him under the bus. "Good try, but my demands remain unchanged," I said, pointing first at Lisa, then at a pale Alex. "You both need to issue a public apology." "Don't push it." Lisa stood up in anger. The school official, seeing that we couldn't reach an agreement, asked us to go home and discuss it later. Before leaving, Alex glared at me fiercely. "You just wait." When I got home and turned on my phone, I saw the latest trending topic. I understood what Alex meant by wait. He and Lisa released a statement, claiming the allegations of thesis theft were baseless. He had written it himself, and I, out of jealousy, made it all up. Moreover, they provided forged evidence matching the chats I posted about the thesis. Except now, it showed Alex and Lisa as the ones chatting. It seemed they had this evidence prepared long ago. If the afternoon's negotiations didn't end in their favor, they'd release it to create a new narrative. Alex went live, tearfully recounting his side. "Jack never liked me. Always felt I took things from him. I overlooked it before, but this time he went too far, dragging Lisa into it. She's dedicated and approachable, unfairly smeared, so I have to stand up now." Through the camera, he implored me earnestly, "Jack, admitting and correcting your mistake is the best way forward. Please apologize." In the comments section, my mom and Nancy also appeared to back up their story. My mom says I'm a habitual liar and always compares me to Alex. Nancy says I'm jealous and suspicious, always thinking there's something going on between him and Alex. In the end, they even attached photos of their injuries from today after I beat them up. They said that when they found out about my behavior, they initially wanted to advise me to delete the post and clarify, but I went into a rage and beat them up instead. Plenty of people on the live stream were asking Alex for more details. "How did your stepbrother get your paper and chat details?" Last time I went home, I had logged into app on my computer and went to the bathroom. When I came back, I saw Jack sneaking out of my room, so maybe it was then. It's funny, ever since he took over my room, I haven't been back to that house. When was the initial draft of the paper finished? It was on January 29th. Sigh, Jack only saw the chat but didn't know my draft was sent to Lisa via email. He posted an email screenshot. January 29th, 2 weeks earlier than my evidence timeline. Why is your stepbrother listed as another author on your published paper? Jack and I were in the same research group. We did the experiment together and wrote the paper together. As he mentioned it, Alex's eyes turned slightly red. I know many people criticize me, thinking there's no way an undergrad like me could do experiments and write papers, but I really did it all myself. And there's nothing inappropriate between Lisa and me. I admit Lisa did let me join the graduate research project early, but that was because I inherited her late husband's heart, and not completing the research was the professor's greatest regret. So, I carried on his legacy, continuing his unfinished research. Alex's heartfelt words moved many followers. We thought it was a dirty exchange of power and sex, didn't expect the professor to be affectionate and the student to be grateful. Alex wiped away his tears and tried to smile. Thank you, everyone. I believe justice prevails in people's hearts. Yeah, justice prevails in people's hearts. Whoever has people's support has justice. I reached out to fellow students who were there yesterday trying to get them to testify. Jack, we want to help you, but Lisa's threatening us with extended delays. Maybe you should negotiate with them. Now it's snowballing, and it'll be hard to clean up later. We can't fight the powerful, Jack. Don't act impulsive. The fellow students all refused me, and then vicious insults flooded into my messages like a tidal wave. People went to D University's official website, demanding I be expelled. Someone even mailed me a box of dead rats through local quick delivery. And Alex, feeling smug, used a small account to ridicule me. I told you an ant can't move a tree. Being interested in your paper was a blessing for you. If you'd surrendered early, I might have spared you. But now, I'll make you a rat that everyone wants to stomp on. People who celebrate at halftime don't usually end well. I put down my phone and looked out the window. The sun had long set, and it was pitch black outside. Only a few stars gleamed faintly. But I believe dawn will eventually pierce through the darkness. The next morning, bedridden Monica posted a video. In the video, she wore a blue and white hospital gown, looking quite empty. Here's the draft Jack showed me, dated January 18th. She held the phone close to the lens, trying to show everyone the date clearly. Jack is honest and has excellent research capabilities. He would never cheat or fake anything. Just saying a couple of sentences, Monica was sweating. For over 2 years, I've been in contact with Monica. For academic questions, she always enlightened me. Unlike Lisa, my so-called mentor who would only boast. Whenever I asked about academic stuff, she evaded. So, when I finished my draft, I sent it to Monica first. After revising based on Monica's guidance, it would then go to Lisa. This was about half a month apart, even earlier than Alex's fabricated timeline by 11 days. I thought Monica's evidence would bring a turning point. But unexpectedly, they hired a bunch of online trolls, leading clueless users to smear Monica. They accused her of faking evidence and claimed we had some hidden exchange of interests. They cursed us as being in cahoots, saying Monica's research must have been stolen too. Some extremists even went to Monica's hospital to curse her face to face. When I got a call from Monica's daughter and arrived at the hospital, Monica was already in the ICU. Jack, I don't want my mother's integrity tainted, nor do I want her back in the ER because of you. So please resolve this quickly. The heavy door shut me off from viewing, and all I could hear were the quiet sobs of grieving families. From the moment I discovered the paper was stolen until now, it's my first bout of regret. I shouldn't have dragged Monica into this. All right, I unlocked my phone, going deep into my files to find that recording. Actually, I'm not as righteous as Monica claimed. When it comes to what I hold sacred, I can become quite vindictive. After the professor passed away, I know you've been lonely. Alex, what are you doing? Lisa, here, feel it, the professor's heart is still beating. You? If you miss him, you can think of me as him. The professor's heart saved me, so I'll take good care of you for him. Because of Alex, Lisa found ways to target me. So every time there was a group meeting, I'd record him, review it later, ensuring he had no excuse to pick faults. That one time, I accidentally left behind the recorder. When I came back, there was this explosive conversation. Didn't Alex say he and Lisa were just friends? Let's see if everyone else agrees on how innocent they are. Poor professor, even after dying, still dragged into their game. Soon enough, a bunch of online experts popped up, insisting the audio was fake. They said it was all just a distraction I staged to take the heat off me. But after so many twists and turns, people didn't just believe whatever they heard online anymore. This lukewarm story suddenly got way more attention. Before, only some struggling students were interested, no one else. Now, with a bit of a scandal involved, it spread like wildfire. Lisa couldn't sit still, so she called me. Jack, what exactly do you want? I've said it countless times, I want a public apology. Lisa took a deep breath over the phone. I can give you money and resources. With that, you can rebrand yourself and still succeed. Lisa still wanted to keep up her nasty appearance, but I wasn't the one at fault. Why should I be the one to flee? If I left now, it would just confirm what they suspected about Monica. Professor Lisa, this is probably the last time I'll call you that. You should keep that money for yourself. I'm sure you'll need it. What do you want, Jack? What do you want? Amidst Lisa's shouting, I clicked the mouse, sending out the pre-recorded video. It was a real name report against Lisa for abuse of power, suppressing students, forging experiment data, and embezzling research funds. I always knew Lisa was the real enemy here. Because of her, Alex got away with stealing my paper. With her out of the picture, I could finally graduate. It's about weighing benefits. It's human nature. Just like how D University chose Lisa and stayed silent. Or how my peers chose not to testify just to avoid delaying their graduation. I'm not stupid. If I switch advisors, I might have to extend my studies for a year at most. Why drop out and start over for 3 years? Switching advisors was tough, really tough. But what if the advisor screwed up and got fired? After I accidentally discovered Lisa was faking data, I started collecting evidence. Originally planned to expose it after graduation, but when Lisa played dirty, I had no reason not to cut her career short. Now, I had to capture as much attention as possible while the buzz was high. Right when the issue couldn't be brushed aside, when the school was trying to cover for her. Strike when it hurts, push Lisa into the mud for good. Other issues aside, faking experiment data in our field is a big deal. Lisa used fake data to publish multiple papers and became industry hotshot. Countless others wasted time and resources on her findings, only to end up with nothing and stalled research. Simply put, with all the wasted time and money, D University couldn't keep quiet anymore. So they formed a special investigation team and dug into it. Eventually, they found out Lisa was guilty of academic fraud, even swindling state research funds. D University terminated her contract and sent her to jail for fraud. With Lisa gone, Alex couldn't escape unscathed either. He was expelled from D University for academic fraud, too. Later, I heard he turned to Nancy. But Nancy was disgusted by his and Lisa's sordid relationship and dumped him. Furious, Alex pushed her at the curb, just as a car drove by. Nancy ended up paralyzed. Nancy's family sued Alex for $1 million, and he disappeared. A month later, the police came knocking at my door out of the blue. They told me my mom was tied up at home, starved to death. Her decomposed body found only after neighbors reported it. The suspect? Alex and his father. Motive? Robbery. When Alex and his dad were finally caught, I was there. As soon as Alex saw me, he started raving. It was him. It was him. Jack's the real killer. I just tied her up. It was Jack. He's her son. He didn't even go check for so many days. He killed his own mom. Funny enough, my mom changed the locks long back to keep me from intruding on their family life. Even if I wanted to go home, I couldn't get in. Maybe that's karma for you. In the end, I found a new advisor. Though I missed my original graduation date, I graduated the following year without any hiccups. My future is still wide open.